Okay, so we're back trying to solve our hyperflash problem with these otherwise, fairly nice LED bulbs. And there are various ways you can do that. You can wire in some type of load resistor. There's even a relay that you can put in, but that actually goes under the dash. You have to take out your bottom dash and really dig back in the wires to find a place to put that. So I wasn't sure I wanted to go to all that trouble. So some of the lights do come with the resistors pre-wired in. And here's something that I kind of thought I would try. I like this one because it's not attached to a light. So if the light fails, I can just replace it. So you can see how it has a place for the light bulb to go in there. Obviously it's going to be LED. And then here's one where it's going to hook back into the socket, from the vehicle. And it has these two, for some reason, you see, load resistors built right in. And I found this on eBay. It's a pre-wired load decoder is what it's called, and it's for the right type of light, 3157, for the Tacoma. So let's try this out and see if this works. Now, before I do anything permanent here, I'm testing it, and so I've got it all wired in. And here we have a nice normal blink, not the hyper blink. So I'm actually doing the turn signal instead of before when I installed the bulbs. I did just the hazard lights. So it looks like this solves the problem, and that works. Should work just fine. Now, one little new problem I saw is that if I look at this bit here, which is supposed to go right where the light went, I can see that there are three little bits kind of hanging out here, and the actual socket from the Tacoma has four. You can see right here is like a 1, 2, and then a 3 and a 4, all 90 degrees from each other. So this one right here has a slightly different configuration. So it fits in the hole, but it won't lock in because of these little guys here, how there are three of them and kind of uneven sizes. So I'm going to see what I can do here. Testing it out, seeing that it should work and flash just fine. I think I may try and carve away some of these so I can have two that will fit in there and maybe lock in and see if that might do the trick. But of course, before I do anything like that, I'm wanting to test this out to see that it will solve my problem. And of course, with these resistors here, these wired in resistors, that should work. Now the whole thing about these resistors is that they supposedly get kind of hot while it's working. And I can feel just with a little bit of blinking here, they're already heating up. But that's kind of what you'd expect. And what's nice about them is they have little holes here that you could mount them to something. Seeing as how they are going to heat up, mounting them to metal might be a better way to go. But find some place to mount these little guys in here might be a good idea. But the main thing we're seeing is that it does solve the problem. The resistors are doing their job and the LED is blinking as it should. So here's what I've done. It was a bit of a pain, but you can see I've carved off this third one right here completely. And I've tried to carve this one down so it's a lot smaller. And I've left this top one as it is. So the idea is that I've got one here, and they're basically 90 degrees from each other. So I'm thinking that should fit in there and at least give me, some little pieces that'll lock up and I can rotate it and get it to fit so it's secure. A bit of a pain, but, it was okay. The plastic isn't too hard and it carves away fairly nicely with a sharp blade. So that's kind of what you need to do to get it to fit in where that turn signal bulb goes. And there's the other one in and blinking just as it should. So I'm thinking this should do the trick. No more hyperflash off and on randomly. This is what we want to see. Both of them seem to be working well. And then the last thing to do probably would be to take these resistors down here and try and find a way to mount them. There's a decent amount of free space here in the front of the Tacoma, and because of the heat that they generate, mounting them on something metal would be good. So perhaps right in here, mount to the metal, little sheet metal screw, and kind of put them right in there maybe. Anyway, hyperflash finally solved. Now they blink as normal. And here's the end result. So you can see the resistors here. I did just have them hanging down, just dangling on there. You see there's of course lots of room they could just hang around in. But decided rather than have them flopping around loose, I should mount them. So I just drilled a tiny little hole through the sheet metal here, put a little sheet metal screw in there, and one right there, just to kind of keep them fixed and in place. And it was actually tough to find a place to mount them. You want to get them in here, get them some good space where they have, you know, airflow around them and not touching anything plastic probably because of the heat. And anyway, it was tough to get them around here. Over here on this side, you can see where I've put them. I did have this one mounted right up here, which seemed like a really nice place. But then when I put down the support rod for the hood, it came here right to here and it interfered with this one. So I had to move it, drill a little hole right there. This little flange at that very end is actually a pretty easy place, just to put a little hole there and then screw the screws in, and that'll work fine. So I guess it's not too pretty, but at least they're secure and have a nice little place to live. So 2 of them right there. Still not sure why we need 2 on each light, but right there and right there. And now the problem of the hyperflash is fixed. So a nice, really bright LED bulb, no hyperflash, and much better way to go for that front turn signal. So if that's what you're looking for, got to get those load resistors in, and then you're good to go.